Go.
Yo, this is Tone Bell.
Hey, Raul Perez.
And you are watching the Lawyer Johnson Comedy and Sports
Radio Show.
Radio Show. We did it.
That's a mouthful.
Thank y'all. I would like to welcome y'all to the Lawyer Johnson Comedy and Sports Radio Show. Today I have an extraordinary comedian. He's one of my homeboys. I can call him a friend. Been in the game for a long time. Mr. Clayton Perkins. What's going on, Clayton?
What's
Good,
going
man?
on, brother?
Good. So, what's going on with you? Big time?
Just chilling, man. Working. And,
Can I call you big time?
I wouldn't say that yet. But you know, steady grinding, steady working. You know, enjoying the day. It's a beautiful day, so I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this.
Yeah, I've been trying to get this interview for a long time. I tried to get it last week, man, but you be so busy, so we had to reschedule today. But it's a blessing. It's a nice day, and we about to get into it, man. You know, I want to make sure I represent you right. You from Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio, born and raised.
Born and raised in Dayton, Ohio, and I have to say that you're a seasoned comedian.
Wow. I mean, all right, I'll take it. You know what though? It's funny because it has been 9 years to the date, so I got a little spice. I got some spices in there.
I think
I think it's one of those things you always working it. You know what I mean? Like you always working it. So for me to say I'm seasoned, that would be like I'm done. I feel like I still
I'm not saying you done. It tastes good right now.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No.
You like collard greens.
Oh yeah, I like the flavor. Yeah. I like the flavor that I'm cooking up. My comedy is definitely soul food. Definitely food for the soul.
I mean, for a guy that actually went on tour with Cat Mills, just recently, like a month ago, you opened up for Mike Epps, and you know, and the great John Witherspoon. That's his name.
John Witherspoon. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Pops. And how was that experience for you?
Well, every experience is a great, it's any opportunity just to, you know, maximize my potential is good with me. I try to make the best out of every experience. Every experience let's go back to the beginning. Touring with Cat was probably the best thing that could ever happen to me at that time. I was young. I had only been doing it for literally like 9 months, you know, and then I opened up for him and he took me with him. And sometimes I think back on it like, damn, did he really need to take me with him, or was he just like, you know, in one of his spells? And you know, it was a great experience, man. But I had enough sense at the time to realize, man, you just getting your feet wet in this. And I was blessed. I felt fortunate and blessed to do it so early. But I knew that I still had more work to do. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, oh, all right, I'm gonna tour with Cat Williams. It was like, man, okay, this is what I want to work for one day. You know what I mean?
Did you have the stage right? Like when, you know, back then, and he's still selling out shows, but back then when Cat was at the height of his career, he was just selling out arenas. You know?
Yeah. Well, he was doing arenas then too. He was doing arenas, and one thing I never really get stage fright, but I do get anxious. You know what I mean? Like I'm not scared of no crowd, but I'm anxious. It's kind of like I relate it to like when I play football. Like you know what you're doing, you know your plays, you know you're gonna go out here and execute and hopefully get the win. So it's nothing to be nervous about, but you're anxious. You gotta get to that first hit. Once you get to that first hit, you know I'm in the game. That's just like with comedy. Once I get to that first laugh, I'm off the races. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm more anxious about. Like I gotta let me get out here and just get to this laugh, You know, once I get into my set and they start ha, it's like, okay, I'm here now, you know. So it's never nervous. It's nerves, but it's not like, oh shit, look at all those people. You know, it's not like that. It's like, man, I'm gonna go out here and allow the spirit of laughter to take over.
Do you remember the jokes that you was working on when you first went out, you know, with Cat Williams?
Hell nah, man. Like I said, man, I was new. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm pretty sure I had a hack attack. You know what I mean? Telling, you know, just trying to be funny and quick, and I was first. I always went up first because I was new. You know, and you could tell I was new. But a lot of people told me like, I can tell you new, but I can tell you really want to do this. You know what I mean? A couple people told me that. Like I can tell you're new, but you really want to be out there. And that was what I presented every night. But at the time, I don't tell any of those jokes anymore. One joke actually made the DVD, and I was just up there beatboxing, just acting silly. But it was definitely one of those moments in my life where I was glad I was able to pinch myself and be like, okay, this is real, but this is just the beginning. Like this is not okay. I've done this. This is where you want to be one day. I remember walking in the arenas, seeing his face up on the marquee, and just feeling the energy and being like, oh, this is.
So who was on the lineup? Because I know Cat had his crew. He had Melody Demontre.
Right. None of them. No one. Only person that he had
Was Red Grant.
Red Grant. Red hosted, and Red wasn't even on the first show. Red came in the second show, and Red hosted. I think with that tour, it wasn't even. It was like it was as we were picking up momentum as we went along, and he was figuring out, you know, what he wanted to. For him, it was like. It was kind of like the first few dates. I'm pretty sure he had ideas, he had jokes he had thought about, but it was like his open mind. You know what I mean? Like that's what was crazy to me. Like he was so big, and I get it. I guess when you get so big, yeah. After that, you get so big, and then the hate comes in. You know what he's had to deal with in his career. You can't go just like to the Improv on a Tuesday night and work your set. You know. Now that they can make money off of you, they know that okay, we can sell these tickets. Now you got to go work your set in front of people that spent their last dollar to come see you. You know, might not even eat next week, or because they so excited to see you. But in that while that's going on, sometimes you might get a bad review. Oh, he wasn't even funny, and he wasn't. But he really was just working it out. He was working out those shows up until we got to the final show, the New Year's episode where he shot the DVD.
Yeah.
So that tricked me out. Like, he went out there with a few times. He was out there and just pacing and talking and just working it out. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And I think we all want to get to a point where our comedy is accepted, universally, and people sell out. I don't know if I want to get to where I'm working it out in front of 1,500 people, But if you're that great,
you're that great.
You can do it.
Because people coming at, and that's what I'm noticing now by doing comedy. We want people to laugh at us now. But I think once you build that fan base and you get to a certain height in your career, the people coming to see you, and they all wrapped in and absorbed into who you are. So it's easy for them to laugh at what you say. You just had to build that fan base, and that was the blessing with Cat Williams. Like once that Friday came out, I can imagine how many promoters was calling and booking them for them shows.
Oh yeah. Well, you even saw them as DVD that he dropped. It was one where he had a show at midnight. They ended up adding another show or something like later on that night. Yeah, he was a big draw, man. He was like I ain't got nothing bad to say about Cat as far as person. As far as what he might be going through personally. I know he's in and out of the news, whatever, but he showed me nothing but love. You know what I mean? And I'm always respecting and love him for that. He showed me nothing but love. He made sure, he took care of it. I'm talking about, at the time I was flying in and out because I was, still coming back here. I wasn't I didn't want to be on the road. I didn't want to be there for a whole week, 2 weeks, and wait. But he would actually allow me to, fly back to my family and fly me back in. Always paid me. He was always, and he pays his comments. So he always took care of me. Always made sure I was straight.
Is that every comedian have a process that they go through or how they build their jokes. What is your process or what you go through when you build your joke?
Well, first off, for me, it has to be real life. It has to be something that actually happened in my life. I'm not a makeup story type of person, makeup, joke type of. There is some things you kind of embellish, It might not happen like that, but for the most part, it comes from a real life situation that I experienced, and I'm like, okay, how can I make this funny? Or a lot of the times, for a lot of my jokes earlier on, it would be me just sitting around shooting the shit with people and talking about something at home or something, but like being upset and pissed off about it, and they cracking up. And then later on, I'm thinking, I can say that. You know what I mean? I should say that. So my jokes come from
from life, man. From life. Life is the best. It's the best. I guess tool you can use to relate to people. You know, to go out there and tell jokes that, you know, bring or even if they don't relate, bring them into your world. You know.
You do a good job of that because I know you have jokes about your wife, your stepkids, about you working as a landscaper.
Yep.
And so, you know, you give people that. The thing I like about you, you can take people on that journey and make them understand everything you're going through, and then drop them off. You know,
well, that's what I try to do. That's my main focus. Is I want to take their minds on a ride. You know, and it's something that I'm constantly working on. You know, it can always get better. It's like when you're like, well, you're a seasoned, like, I would say I'm seasoned, but I'm learning how to, you know, sprinkle in that season and make it a complete product to where everybody can get it and relate, and even if everybody don't get it relate, they can be like, oh, I like him. He was. But at the same time, I want to be real. So I don't want to try to please everybody. I think if you go out doing that, then you're just a clown. You know, I want to go out there and just present myself, who I am, my thoughts, what I believe, and it's mostly my life. I don't, you know, as far as current situations and current events, I don't do a lot of those. If I have a quick something I'm thinking about, I might present it. But other than that, I just want to go out there, man, and just give them, be the greatest me I can be. You know, I think what we get caught up in a lot as comedians is, and you can't help it. You know, you do these shows, you invite your friends and your family, and as soon as you get off the stage, as soon as the show is off, the show is over, oh man, you were the best, man. You were the best out there. You were the funniest out there. And it's not about being the funniest of others. It's about being the greatest of yourself. I truly believe it. Because I think once you get caught up in, oh, I'm funnier than him, oh, I'm better than him, oh, I could have said that, but then you're losing sight of who you're trying to be. You know, I got into comedy because I love making people laugh. I love the way laughter sounds. You know, I love it. I like to sometimes, I watch a comedian, now that I do it, I can watch a comedian now, and even if I don't relate to what he's going to say, I like to hear the crowd response. You know, because laughter is universal, man. Laughter is one of those things that you took a recording from 1929, when the Great Depression was going on. You took a recording of a room, and somebody was in there telling a joke, or somebody was laughing, or they were having a good time. It sounds the same from 2020. It sounds the same. That laughter, that energy, that sound the same. That's a sound bite for life, no matter what stage you are in life. You know what I mean? And so I just like going out there and just. I like making people laugh, and taking their mind on a ride is what I aim to do. I want to take your mind on a ride, take you out of those seats, and I want to put you out there while I'm landscaping. I want to put you in the middle of my kitchen when I'm looking in the fridge and I'm talking about, I want to put you there. You're no longer in these seats. Your butt is no longer burning. Your feet is no longer hot. You're no longer uncomfortable. You there. You with me. Hanging on every word, you know what I mean? What is he gonna say? And I want you to laugh. but when I go to talk again, I want you to laugh and go, what are we gonna do? Because you don't want to miss it. You know what I mean? That's what I aim. That's what I aim to do, man. That's what I aim to do.
I see, because first you went from opening up, now you actually featuring. Right? I actually had the opportunity to see you feature for Mike Anderson, and how was that experience for you?
Well, I didn't feature, but I did about 20. I did about 20 minutes. Yeah, I did about 15, 20, and it was my. So if when I open, I want it to be like a feature set. I don't want to be I don't like the host or the opener that goes on there. Hey, what's everybody doing? Who's celebrating a birthday? And ladies over there, you know what I mean? Like I don't have that. That's not me. I want to go out there and give you me. You know. So like I say, the first 10 seconds or so, I'm giving you me from the beginning. You know. But that was a great experience, man. I had a great time. I had a great time doing that with him, and we talked about this a little bit. How you meet people that sometimes you'll see people doing it that you admire and say, you know what, man, one day I love to open for him. I love to work for him. And I said that about a few people and it happened. Mike Epps was one of those people I looked at and was like, damn, I enjoy watching him do it, and I'll probably never get a chance to open, I'll probably never get that opportunity. And I got that opportunity. And I just wanted to, like I said, make the best out of it, So So it was good, man. It was fun, man. And then, you know, when I met him, I ain't gonna say he was standoffish, but he wasn't like, you know, like me and you, what's up, man? It wasn't like that, but he was cool. Hey, you know, he was, you know. But as the weekend progressed, and he saw what I was working with, you know, he said, every show, Friday, Saturday, I come in the green room. What's up, bro? All right now, yeah, okay. You know, then you know, I come in on Sunday. Now he's like, man, you been acting a fool all weekend. You know what I mean? Like, I love your energy up there. You know, and regardless if that's something he say to everybody else, I'm glad that he said it to me, and I felt like I deserved it. But I tried to you know, do my thing while I was up there. And then he even gave me more time the last show. He even came up to me after, you know, had his manager came up to me, was like, man, you know what, do 20, you know, I was doing 15, do 20 minutes next year, you know what I mean? Kind of like reward yourself, 5 more minutes, bro. You've been killing it, you know.
But to get validated by a comedian like that, because Mike Epps is huge, man. You know what I'm saying? To get validation from a guy like that, say you've been doing your thing, man, it's just like, not saying you don't already have your stamp of approval, but I know somebody like that be like, yeah.
Oh, that was definitely, definitely one of those moments. And Mike Epps is one of those, he's one of those characters in the comedy world that, you know, when I started doing it and before I started doing it, I really enjoyed his comedy, you know, and I still do. Because he's an experience, you know. I think Mike is one of those guys where he can, you know, tell the same jokes from his special, but you just want to see him do it in front of you, you know, and it was a great experience, man. It was a great experience, and I you know, it's one of those moments I always cherish in my career, always.
Yeah, he talk about real life stuff as well. Like I did, that was my when you had opened up for him, that was my first time actually seeing Mike Epps perform, man. But when he performed, it blew my mind, because I'm like, now I see why they want him to do the Richard Pryor story. Because when you hear him do his comedy and you see his demeanor, man, you be like,
it's so natural.
It's so natural, man.
He's one of he's it's like he's of course he's up there telling jokes, but if you wasn't aware of it, you'd be like, oh, he just up there hanging. He up there hanging. You know, like, oh, I'm just kicking back, coming to talk to y'all about a little, and you know, and that's one of the styles that I like. You know, I try to implement that into my storytelling and style. You know, where it's like, yeah, I got a premise and a setup and punchline that I want you to check out, but at the same time, kind of want you to be relaxed. I'm just here talking to you. We just having a good time. Let's just have a good time and enjoy one another. And he's definitely one of those comedians you see him. It's like it's a good time. It's a good time.
So how many, like when you step out on the stage, how many punches you think you should have to get that? Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
What should be a comedian train of thought when he hit that stage, when he's trying to get into his bit? Like, when you're trying to get him on your side, punch him, and get him there, and then dive into your bit. What would be your approach for that?
First, you gotta be yourself first. You know, they gotta accept you for who you are and how you are. Be yourself. Don't put too much emphasis on it. Do what makes you you, and get to it. You know, certain different situations call for, you know, different outputs. If it's an open mic, then you might be able to go up there and sit down and just funnel through it and just run through it. But if it's a paid gig, you gotta get on it. You gotta get on it, you know, and they're not, you know, for me, when I'm, whether it be featuring or hosting, I understand they're not here to see me. I get that. So I'm not here to try to steal the show, but I'm here to let you know that I am on the show. You know, one of my opening lines that I got from doing the Cat Williams tour was, I'd be like, man, y'all ready to see, you know, whoever, y'all ready to see Cat, y'all ready to see Mike, and they already, yeah, well, guess what? You got me now. You know what I mean? And then from there, we off to the races, you know. But you definitely want to get to it. Now, you don't want to be up there rambling and bambling and bumbling and stumbling and ain't told not one joke or one punchline, you know. I try to get you a laugh early. Quick, as quick as possible, and then after that, I just try to stay steady with it. Till I get over the finish line, I'm like, appreciate y'all. Good night. You know what I mean?
Cause I think when I first met you, probably was like 8 years ago. and I had the opportunity to meet you at Stand Up Scottsdale. Big shout out to Howard Hughes, man. He gave a lot of cats out here in the Phoenix community, out here in the
One of my
comedy
favorite
community,
places.
man,
Yeah.
a platform to go off when he didn't have to. And every Wednesday night, we'll have to sign up for the open mic, right?
Yep.
And the line would be hanging out the door, bars, comedians on the open mic list. We'll be sitting down, and then this guy right here will pop up, and I'll be like, "Yo, who is this dude that jump across? You know, say jump in front of everybody to get on." So I'm like, "Who is this dude that just come right in the comedy room when there's like 30 people already down the list, and he jump in front of everybody, and he get on stage?" And that's when people like, "Yo, dude, he done opened up for Cat Williams, he done did this, that," and that's when I understood, like, it's a pecking order when it comes to comedians being on the comedy scene or whatever you're doing. It's just a pecking order, and it's a respect. And I didn't understand that until, you know, guys brought that to my attention. Like, it's a lot of guys that will pop up every now and then that's on the road and that had the opportunity to open up with big name acts and just got to hit on, just got the opportunity to jump on stage and do their thing, man.
Yeah, I always loved working at Stand Up Scottsdale. It was what I used to call my home gym. You know,
Yeah.
I would go and do the open mic every week, and then on the weekends, Howard would actually give me some time doing shows and just let me rock. You know, and it wasn't about him paying me, or it was just about the experience of, especially for that type of audience. You know, I'm from Dayton, Ohio, man. You know, so I'm from, you know, where we do have our mixed. Or we're not that diverse. We do have, you know, the black side of town and the white side of town, but for the most part, it's integrated but segregated. If that makes sense. You know, where there's a black side, there's a white side. Yeah, we work together, we go to school together, but you know, now the world is a little different, so you might have more. Like I tell people all the time, man, I grew up, my mother and father, they didn't have white friends. So I never sat down at the dinner table and they invited, this is my buddy from work, and then he's a white guy. I never experienced that till I went off to school, you know, and then I moved to California, and I moved to New Mexico, and then I moved here. So I said that to say, it gave me a place to tell jokes in front of people that didn't look like me all the time. You know, rarely, you know, I'm not saying that they had a diverse crowd, you know, there was black, white. The good place about out here is you can get black, white, Mexican, Native, you know, like
one big melting pot,
right.
Yeah.
And so it gave me an opportunity to tell my story to people that don't know, that wouldn't know who I am and wouldn't know, you know, what I was about. So I always like that, you know, I can go there and it'd be a crowd, a diverse crowd like that. And Howard always showed me love, and that was a great place to work out. It was.
I hope we get another comedy room, man.
Yeah.
Like, I would know a lot. Yeah,
We definitely
yeah.
need another one. I'm back out there now, man. I'm doing the open mic, you know, thing at least once a week now. I'm trying to, because my schedule allows it, but it's
different.
It's different, bro. But it's good though. I'm in a good position. You know, I think the more I'm doing it, the more I'm comfortable with it. And that's what you got to do, man. You got to go out there and try to push your new ideas and new thoughts and new material. You can't just be telling the same stuff over and over and over. You can, but for me, it wouldn't be fulfilling. I don't think that would be fulfilling for me. You know, I feel like I would be stuck in a matrix. You know what I mean? Telling the same jokes, going out every night doing the same 5 minutes, the same 15 minutes. You know, you're supposed to polish your act, and that's what you do. But you still should go to open mics and have the opportunity to go and introduce something right. Work something, construct something from the ground up. While you have the chance, because once you start making money, like I said, you be like Cat Williams. You gotta go and work. You gotta go in front of 2,000 people and work something that you just really, you know, trying to work out. You know. So yeah.
That's what I try to do, man. I force myself. Like, I don't like chant. I try to make it where every time I go out to an open mic, I'm gonna have 5 new jokes, and I work them, I check them off, whatever gets the most laughs, and I throw that into my bag. Yeah, man. You know, because I don't want to continue to say the same thing over and over again, man. Like you were saying, you don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm pretty sure that's because Cause I've been around you long enough where I know your jokes, right?
Right.
But every time I come, if I haven't seen you perform in a long time, you add more onto it.
That's what I try to do. That's what I try to do. And even if it's an old joke, I'll try to squeeze a funnier punchline out of it or another punchline out of it to get more laughs. You know, that's my thing. That's my thing.
So how many minutes you think you have now?
Well, if you count everything, I probably can be up there for. I can probably be up there for an hour.
That's good.
An hour, without you getting sick of it. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what it is. I think it's it's to the point to that's what after a while once you start doing it, man, you it's like now I do it. So now I'm not wowed by comedians like I was before I started doing it. You get what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example. I was in the mood for some comedy last night. So I was watching a little Dion Cole, I watched a little, but now that I do it, after like 6, 7 minutes, 8, all right, what's that? You know what I mean? And it's just, that's just what it is. So when I go up there, I want to hit you, and then I want to start telling you stories and kind of wind you down. And I say I could probably do that for about an hour in a crowd and be like, oh, I enjoyed him. I enjoyed that. But it's been 9 going on 10 years, to get to that point. Because you can be the funniest guy in the world, but you still gotta have some preparation. You still gotta be prepared. Yeah, it's naive to think, at first I'm gonna be funny. I'm just gonna go up there and I would never say the same thing over and over again. And you gotta develop something because the thing is, you're not with a lot of your jokes, you're not trying to develop the funny. You're trying to develop the idea. You're trying to develop the things around the funny. Whether it be the irony or whether it be just the thought process of it. You get what I'm saying?
How long you think it takes for you to take your life, fine-tune it and put it into a joke? Because all of us have a life story.
Yeah.
But it's just we got to get the comfortability.
And that's where open mics come into place. That's where open mics come into play. I say it takes to be honest with you, bro. It takes maybe 6 months to a year to actually. You can throw it in, and it can. You can introduce it, but it takes a few months before I think it's actually polished and fine. You said it enough times to where you know where your punchline is, and then. I've done this a few times where I've had jokes and I knew the funny part. I knew, okay, they're gonna laugh here because I thought this was funny. But then there's parts in there where it's like you get a different reaction and you're like, I ain't even anticipate that. So then now you're honing on that. Instead of it being the punchline, it's the let me say this part before it because I always get a ooh or oh, you know what I mean? Because that's what it is. After a while, you realize, like, yeah, it's about making them laugh. But sometimes it's about more than just that. It's about provoking a response, period. And you just gotta be, whatever response you get, you gotta be willing to work with. Now, if you piss them off, that's still a response, but you gotta be ready to
bring them back
dig yourself out of that hole. So now it's more like at this point in my career, it's more like the game within the game. You ever hear about that? Like how football players be like, oh, it's the game within the game. Like we're playing the Chargers, but I'm gonna set up this sack for third. I was watching something with the Arizona Cardinals, and the defensive end at the time was what's the brother's name that was the defensive end in Indianapolis?
Oh,
young went to Syracuse, Freeman.
Freeman.
He was talking about the game within the game, how your thing went. Okay. He was talking about the game within the game, how he was setting up for a sack later within the play. He was like, okay, I'm gonna keep coming off the ball like this the whole first half. By third quarter, I'm gonna get a sack because he's not gonna be anticipating this move. And so it was the game within the game. Like, yeah, there's a game, we're playing them, we're supposed to put up more points and we're supposed to win. But how do I get better? How do I make it to where I can put my name in the Raptors within the game scheme and the game plan? And that's what the game within the game is. Like, okay, I know they're gonna laugh. I know what they're gonna laugh at, but there's certain moments where they like, or oh, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, let me hone in on that right now.
It's deep, man. People be thinking comedy is just going up and telling jokes, but it's like,
it's some destruction to it.
It's like you being a psychologist, like you trying to pick apart somebody's mind and put it back together where they can function right, man. It's deep, man.
Yeah, well, there's some cats that are real good at what you're
Picking
saying right there. Yeah, being able to change your view and thought on something. I'm not that quite complex yet, you know what I mean? But
Dave Chappelle
is definitely one of those guys. He's one of those game within the game type of comedians where he'll say something and he'll go on and on and on. You done forgot all about it. You know, he'll say something and he'll pin it. Okay, let me pin that right there. It'll be over there. So now let's talk about, now we on the, and then you into what he's talking about, then he'll be like, just like, bam. You be like, oh, I forgot all about that. You know, he's in control. He's in control from start to finish. He's definitely has what he's been able to accomplish in these past definitely a couple years since in his special with Netflix. He's been able to. I'm not gonna say reinvent because he was always smart. He was always intellectual and always smart, but he's been able to put himself amongst the greatest, where he's doing things where it's like, oh, damn, he kind of reinventing the wheel on this one. You know what I mean? Like this is something different. You know, especially that last special. It was so great, man. And he was in control from start to finish.
And he don't care, and I think when he went through all that with his show getting canceled and everything, and him coming back because the people loved him so much, and he didn't need anybody help but just him.
Yeah.
I like that last special he did, man. Just all the specials he just recently did, man. He kind of elevated himself. Was it Richard and
definitely
Eddie,
he's at the Mount
Rushmore. Put him in
Rushmore.
that top.
And like you said, all
too.
the specials he did, but that last special, it was so. I know when I watched it, and the first few setups, I was like, whoa! Like, I was like, whoa, Dave out, he ain't playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it probably was uncomfortable at first, but then once I got it, and I thought about the title, Sticks and Stones, it was like, oh no, he's brilliant. He knew what he's doing. He knew what he's doing. He's gonna bring this all back to make it all make sense, and it did, man. It was wonderful, man. It was great. He definitely changed the game. That's one of those. I feel sorry for the new comedians getting in who saw him and was like, I want to do that. That's very hard to do.
Especially if you don't have that name, man, and you don't have that cake up. That's what I think a lot of people.
Well, yeah, they gotta know. There's certain things that he can say that I can't go out and you can't go out there and say. Because they're like, who's his name? What do you think he is? You know what I mean? But he's built that, presence, a large enough presence and a strong enough following where he can go out there and say whatever he wants to say. And they anticipating what he's going to say because they like, okay, how is he going to make this come together? And what is he going to say next? And I think, that's the point that we all want to get to where they understand who we are and how we are, and they're lined up around the corner just to come see us. Or if they understand who we are, how we are, and they're lined up because they just enjoy us. Like we talked about with Mike. Mike is not, his comedy isn't deep, on many levels, but at the same time it's funny. And you don't, like you said, people come to see him because they know what to expect. Same with Dad. His comedy is deep and intellectual. People come to see him, they know what to expect, So to each his own. I think to each his own.
How was it working with the late John Witherspoon? May he rest in peace. How was it working with that brother?
Oh man, he was one of my favorite people to work with. Period. I only worked with him one time, but I'll never forget it. He was just so like cool. And he's from Detroit, Michigan. So he just I got a lot of people from Detroit. We used to have family reunions in Detroit growing up. And he reminded me of those people, real people, and just, it's all about love, you come in love is love, tripping, or we might get to tripping. You know what I mean? But with him, it was all love, man. He was cool, man. And I didn't realize he was that at the time. How old was he when he passed?
70-something. Yeah, he was up there. So Richard have been like 70. Paul
Right.
Mooney was like close to 80.
When we talked about that, me and him, but at the time he was still in his 70s. That was a few years ago, and I just couldn't believe that, you know, he was in his 70s and the way he was rocking out on stage, man. He wasn't standing still, he wasn't sitting down. You know, he had the mic stand, but man, he would do his act out, walk away from the mic, come back to it. Like the way that he worked, man, he was a pleasure to work, man. He was a pleasure to watch for a straight hour. He was a pleasure to watch. From
He
start
been
to
doing
finish.
comedy for like 50 years, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. He been doing this me and your lifetime at least, and then you gotta think maybe our mom and dad's lifetime.
Yeah.
You know? So he's blessed, man. He's a blessed soul, man. That's why so many people, you know, have been putting, you know, pictures up of him and you know, rest in peace, and just talking about his characters. His characters were second to none. You know, all of his characters were legendary. From when he was on Wayne's brother, Boomerang, you know, was probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
His coordinate and with all that, man. And the thing about that is, they were characters. You could tell that was a glimpse of who he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he could carry that naturally because he was naturally that cool, and he was funny, man. He was funny, man. So yeah, I enjoyed working with him, man. I'm blessed to say that I worked with him, man. I am. Him, and I'm not, and that's not even to try to like brag or carry on, but like him, Charlie Murphy was another guy that I worked with, and Charlie Murphy was so cool and just so down to earth, and he was so cool that his conversation wasn't even about he was talking about. I remember that weekend he was saying how, man, I had a guy to jump on a plane and get here, man. I got some furniture coming in and shit. You know, he was talking about some his patio furniture coming in that way. Oh man, I was waiting on them to bring my damn furniture. Like, you know, it was a real conversation. You know what I mean? And he was that cool. He was that cool. You could tell he was sick. You could tell he was sick at that time. He looked sick. But he gave what he had on stage, and you know, like I said, he's another guy I'm blessed to say I work with.
Man, big shout out to those legends, man. They did a lot while they was here, especially John Witherspoon, man.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace to both of them, bro. So what's next for Clayton Perkins? What's the next for you, bro?
What's next for me, man, is keep working, keep getting better, keep working, never giving up, never stopping. Keep doing it. You know, right now I'm working more my day job than I am doing comedy, but I'm making time for it. Like I said, on the weekdays, getting out to open mics. I'm constantly writing. I constantly write. I write. You know, that's my thing. I like to write. When I think of a story that's funny or something that happened, I gotta go and I write it down. And that's how I usually construct my jokes. Like I said, it's real life, so I'll
do
take
you
the
write it
story.
all down, or do you just put the premises? You be like, all right.
It depends. Sometimes I'm premising it up. Sometimes I'm punchlining it up, and then most of the time, a lot of time, I'm telling the story, and I'm writing the story as it happens. One thing that I purposely don't do when I do write though is I don't cuss while I'm writing, because I don't want to depend on the cuss word.
Okay.
You know, so even with my comedy, of course I cuss. Shit, I cuss a lot, but I don't make the curse words the punchline. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I always make sure of. When I tell a story, I try to tell it how it happened, and then once I'm done writing it down and telling it, I walk away from it. I already know the story because, of course, it was in my head to bring forth. But then I'll come back to what I'm writing, and then I'll say, okay, how can I say this without letting them know I'm saying it? You know? Because you got to have element of surprise. And then I go, okay, I'm saying this in this sentence, and this in this sentence, and these three sentences are pretty much saying the same thing. What is the gist of what I'm saying here? Because you want to be specific, and you want to have, your premises are usually specific, you know? So that's where I come up with my premises. And then, you know, the punchlines are just something that, you know, you are there because the punchline is the outcome of the story usually, you know, usually at the end of or where you're getting to. But I think writing is important, man. I try to write on a regular basis. I can do a better job, you know, of doing it daily. But sometimes you don't have the time to do a dating, and sometimes you don't feel like doing it, you know. But whether it be writing, and I'm a pen and pad writer, but sometimes I'll jot a note on my phone. Sometimes I'll, you know, say a voice note in my phone, you know. But what's next for me, man, is I believe the future is bright, man. I believe that it's time to get over that hump. It's been going on 10 years now.
At that time, you almost dead, brother.
I think the most important thing that I've been focusing on these last few years, I have a daughter that's 16, you know, so I got 2 more years before she graduates from high school. She doesn't live here, she's in California, and you know, I work, so child support comes out of that. And, you know, that's important to me. You know, I don't want to be one of those guys to say, man, I'm chasing my dream, I'm a starving, you know, artist or whatever, but I'm not taking care of my responsibility. And that's my #1 priority in life. So, you know, I haven't moved to LA or New York, went out there roughing it, and I respect those guys that can do that, you know. But I got to take care of responsibility first, and that's where I'm at right now, taking care of my family. And once my daughter turns 18 and that child support is off my back, I can move the way I want to move. And, you know, I think it's gonna be a great one. Like I said, life. I talk about life, so life don't never stop. That's what's the great thing about it. You know, life never stops. You can always now my material is I'm talking about. I'll be 40 next year. You know, and I'm talking about that. I know a lot of people talk about their age and getting older. You know, and I'm talking about it from my perspective, my experience. I never thought I'd see this age. You know, and I ain't saying it because oh man, I was out on the streets and I never thought I'd see this age because I never saw this. I just never even thought about it. I just never. It was just 40 was not one of those ages that I was like one day I'll be 40. You know what I mean? You might think about 35, right? 20, 35, 30. You know, 25, but. I mean, 40, bro. Like, I'm, you know, and I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful to be where I'm at in life, man. I really am, man. You know, so just look for more funny, man. You know, I'm starting to do more things on like my Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
I do videos. Yeah, I'm just entertaining myself with those. I'm not taking it serious at all. You know, shout out to the people that's been able to make a career out of Instagram and Facebook and.
It's not your niche,
but that's just not my thing. I'm a stand-up comedian. I want to come and tell you jokes and have you busting up. And that part of me is just, you know, that's just a lighter side of me. But my comedy is real. Like I said, you know, anybody that's made that hustle, God bless them. Hopefully they can make the best and the most out of it. But with a lot of them, you see them, they had these funny videos. And then let me go look on YouTube and look up the stand-up. And the stand-up be terrible. You know what I mean? And I'm a stand-up comic first. That's always was my passion growing up. That's what I wanted to be, you know. So no dig to anybody, you know, that can make a life off of clowning on a video or, you know, making a topic on a video and getting a following behind that. Hey, God bless you. But I think stand-up comedy is one of those things where it grows as you grow, you know. And when you're doing those videos and those niche videos, or you look at like even if you look back at like TV shows, you know, after a while you kind of it's like your audience outgrows that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you make that your audience, you know, you entertaining from 15 to 25 kids that don't have any life experience. They don't even pay their fucking phone bill. They just trying to, you know, waste time while they're in the library or whatever, you know, or at the bus stop, and you're entertaining them for that little bit of time. What happens 10, 20 years from now when they grown up and they got real life experiences, and they look at you, they go back to them videos and be like, I can't believe I used to laugh at this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I think about those videos. And you know, no disrespect to nobody. I say I do videos, you know, but it's more like taking a dig out of people who do videos on social media. That's what my videos are more geared to, like something stupid real quick. I want you to look at it and go womp womp womp. That's what it is. That's what they are to me. But steady working, man. Just steady working, man. Steady trying to get better and just steady working, man. That's what's next for me, man.
Well, at least we know it ain't no grace period to comedy, man. You know, comedy is gonna out. Just like music, man. It lasts forever.
Man, you dedicate your life to making people laugh, man. You know, it's a blessing, man. Look, like you say, look at Pops. Look at John Witherspoon. You know, that brother, he had that start in his 20s, 30s. Yeah. You know, ended up being in his 70s, and you know, he just constantly dedicated himself to making people laugh. You know, and I think that's what we all get into it for. We all want to make people laugh. I think it turns and changes the more you mature, the more you know about it. And then you got a lot of comics that want to try to be different, you know, and more power to them if they can pull it off. But the main criteria to comedy is to be yourself and be funny. Period.
All right, man. It was a pleasure having you on the show, man. It took me a minute to get this brother on the show, man.
We did it.
We did it, man. So I'd like to thank Clayton Perkins for coming on the Lawyer Johnson and Comedy Sports Radio Show, man. It took us a minute to get here and do this thing, but we wrapped it up. And I'm pretty sure y'all gonna enjoy it, man. So the next time, there's no deadlines or dreams. And make sure y'all check out my boy on Instagram, Facebook, Clayton Perkins. He done opened up for Cat Williams, Mike F., John Witherspoon, the late Charlie Murphy. Y'all make sure y'all check him out till the next time.